Santa Fe represents a marked styling departure from its dowdy predecessors. In fact, it's hardly identifiable as a Santa Fe, a good thing if you want to take on rivals like the BMW X3 and Audi's Q5. Certain elements like the ridges along the flanks and the sharp kick-up of the rear windows are nods to the X3, but it's in the dimensions that you'll find the closest resemblance. 4.7 meters long and just under 1.9 wide, the Santa Fe is almost identical in size to its German rivals.
Gone are the days of pretending that we buy 4x4s to do serious off-roading, and manufacturers like Hyundai have caught on to that with the new Santa Fe. The new one that they've brought in for 2013, they have dropped the ground clearance, taken away the heavy and expensive ladder frame chassis, put a monocoque chassis in, and they've brought a 4x2 as their entry level and probably biggest seller. That means that with cars like these, they know that what you're probably going to be using it for is a run around during the week in the cities, and then coming to places like the Rhino and Lion Park on the weekends to do a little bit of not so serious but slightly sticky off-roading.
The ground clearance of 185 millimeters is slightly down on its rivals and won't see you scampering up Sani Pass. There are, however, a few useful features like hill start assist and downhill brake control, which helps the driver to maintain control on steep declines.
So while Hyundai have always been known for offering value for money, the great thing about them entering the luxury market now is that they've started kitting their cars with things like the sunroof, the satellite controls on the steering wheel, an audio system with all the USB and auxiliary and iPod bells and whistles that you could want, and a very nice electronic park brake with auto hold, which is great for hill start on off-road situations.
And that's just the tip of the features iceberg. You also get a reversing camera with a viewer in the rearview mirror, keyless go and heated leather seats with 12-way electric adjustment and 2 memory settings for the driver. There's ample space throughout the cabin, and rear seat passengers also get reclining backrests. The third row of seats in the Santa Fe are actually usable, although as always, flipping them up makes luggage space almost non-existent.
The interior itself is also of a much higher quality than you expect from a Korean brand. The soft touch plastics are also getting a lot better, but there's still a few little rattles and squeaks from the boot and from the doors if you're going over slightly bumpy roads or if you haven't closed the boot lid properly. They've lowered the ground clearance but kept it the same width, which makes it look quite stout. Where the last one was very boxy and aged really quickly, this one will age much better because of the edgy styling. They've gone with Edge of the Storm, which is their philosophy for this vehicle. And when put up against its German competitors, it still looks very modern and it looks like it belongs there. Again, when it comes to capability, this is not a serious 4x4. While you want the 4x4 drivetrain for slightly wet roads and for when you do go onto gravel, this is not a vehicle that you would want to go on a 4x4 trail with. The ground clearance won't allow for it, especially in thick sand. And when it comes to rocky roads or proper 4x4 trails, the wheel articulation isn't going to allow you to go everywhere you might want to go. Hyundai South Africa have only brought the 2.2 diesel VGT in. There is a 2.4 petrol and a 3.3 petrol available internationally, but we're not getting any petrols at all. That said, this engine is lovely. The torque is really great. From the 2.2 diesel, you're getting 436 Newton meters of torque, which is great for when you do go off-road. And then for on-road, 145 kilowatts is very decent for driving around town and even the open roads and the highways. The transmission is a 6-speed auto, which is also the only option that you have in both the 4x4 and the 4x2. As automatic gearboxes go, it's an ordinary gearbox with a torque converter, but the changes are really nice and smooth and there's very little lag starting off from first or when overtaking. So while Hyundai would have us believe that this is their first attempt at entering the luxury market with competitors like the X3 and the Q5, there is still a few refinement issues that they would have to address to compete in a price level. Engine refinement in terms of noise levels, as well as some body rolling issues in tight corners, are something they would have to look at for the next model. That said, the 4x2 entry level at $439 is probably their best bet in this luxury market, while they'll probably struggle to push this one at $499.